All right, traders, watch this video for Wednesday, May 15th, showing you the SPY. SPY gapped up today, put in a pretty nice rally, but then ended up kind of closing off of its highs. Nice to see a bounce. And I've been saying there's headline risk for both sides right now. So before I get into the watch list, let me pop this up. There'll be a link below or below the YouTube video, however you're watching this. Maybe you got an email from me, you're on my email list. Or just on the web page that this video is on. However you're accessing this video, you should be able to look below, above, beside, whatever, and there'll be a link to register for this. It's a free webinar. We haven't done one. We've got 10 in the can. This will be number 11. We haven't done one in a while, and this one, as you can see, is solving the day trading puzzle, and we're basically sharing our top 5 aha moments that helped us put the pieces together ourselves. When I say we, I'm talking about Wayne and myself. And every trader needs to figure out these pieces for themselves. We're also going to be sharing the specifics of one of our A+ setups that we actually teach in our day trading course. So we're gonna give that away that night and go into detail one of our setups that we really like. So you can experiment with that in your spare time after that. So yeah, but you do have to click the link and fill out the form to get registered. And I think it's gonna be one of our best webinars ever. So hope to see you there. Let's get this back out of the way. I'm going to show you just a couple things from today. I talk about timing is everything here. This is where the call in Roku was made. I actually took it right here below the early high was like 81.49 or 81.50. I took it, I did a limit of 50 and I got filled at 40, which was actually late compared to Wayne's call. Wayne called it over the quarter, 81.26. But either way, this entry or my entry, either one, you see that for the next 5 or 10 minutes, we were green right away and figuring out, scaling into parts, right? Scaling out in parts. And that is the crux of everything we teach. Probably the most important part is teaching people to enter trades so you'll be green right away. That takes a lot of the other problems out of it. So there's patience involved in waiting for setups, but when we see one, we pounce. And when we're right, we're green right away. Gotta love that. Let me slide this one over. Also, Wayne called Pinterest, P-I-N-S, when the market was really strong. Just over the 2-day high plus a whole number inflection point through 28. It ended up going, I think, nicely over 29 before the day was over. A nice call there, too. So, all right, anyway. One other comment. I saw a tweet tonight. The guy writes, third red day for me in a row. SAEX got me straight out of the gates with 14-cent loss on 1,000 shares. It goes on to say a couple other things. And the only point I want to make is when I see that, the glaring obvious thing to me is any stock, SAEX, or any other symbol on the planet, when you take it straight out of the gate, because your mentor, your teacher, and I'm doing air quotes here, anyone who teaches you to buy anything straight out of the gate is not looking out for you. You have to learn setups, all right? Buying out of the gate is a coin flip. So when I read a post like that and they finish it by saying, hope we see some good momentum soon. These are people that have been brainwashed by some clown who advertises like crazy. Like I said, the guy probably spends 6 figures a year advertising, and then these people, take his course and join his room, and then the market opens and he says, I'm long SAEX, and then the crowd tries to chase that, and sometimes it works, and then they think they're traders, and sometimes it tanks and they get their ass handed to them. I don't care who you are. That's not a strategy. Following someone that just said I'm long something because the market's open now, it's been open for 5 seconds, is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And I promise you, the guy doing that and teaching you that and charging you to learn that, by the way, is not looking out for you. They just don't care about you even a little bit. So you need to learn how to trade. If you're stuck in that rut and you think, oh, well, there's no momentum right now because that's what this clown is telling you, it has nothing to do with it. It's nothing to do with it. You have to learn setups. You have to find these high odds entries, and the coin flip of an entry right after the opening bell, it's not a high odds entry. It's a coin flip. That's it. All right, I'm done babbling. I told myself I wasn't going to rant tonight. But check out that webinar. It's on May 30th, and I think it's going to be fun. All right, what are we watching for tomorrow? MARA had this nice pop back here, a really nice pop yesterday, Today, kind of a quiet inside day on lower volume. It came down farther than I would have liked. But last time I checked Bitcoin, and maybe I'll just do that while I'm babbling here, it was actually working its way back up again. So, and this stock is completely tied to, the runs in this stock are completely tied to Bitcoin. Bitcoin today went down to, if I'm not mistaken, the low, somewhere around 7,651. As I'm making this video at 8:22 Eastern time, it is trading back over 8,000 again. It's at 8,061, something like that. So, you know, if Bitcoin, by the time we open tomorrow and Bitcoin's right back up or even hitting new recent highs, I love this setup. I love it over this high. Then you have this catalyst and maybe a squeeze. So Mara's my favorite Bitcoin related play if Bitcoin's strong. NVAX, recent reverse split. See the one for 20 a few sessions ago, and really, really nice volume today, even though it closed well off its highs. It went to 790, closing at 713. I'm going to have that on a chart and look for a low risk setup because of that reverse split, it can really move. EYES, interesting chart. Big spike here, lower high here, kind of a couple equal tops right here. Looks pretty good over this consolidation, so we're going to watch that one. LYFT, it bounced today. I had this on Bounce Watch for today, and it did bounce today. And Uber had a really nice bounce today. So this was Uber's opening day, then a disaster yesterday, but a really nice bounce today. If Uber continues its bounce tomorrow, let's go back to Lyft. Lyft could continue, right? It's really, really beaten up, and that's actually kind of a small bounce compared to how far it's fallen, even just over the last week. So there's kind of another correlation. We've got Bitcoin dependent, you know, Mara dependent on if Bitcoin runs, and the same thing with Lyft dependent on if Uber has another strong day. I think there might be a low risk setup there. Tigger, or TIGR, just put this back on Bounce Watch. It's sitting at all-time lows, but I still think it's extended to the downside and set up for a possible snapback bounce. Remember, I had that on watch for today, and it didn't even come close to giving me a setup, so it doesn't cost me anything to have these on charts, as long as I know what to look for on an intraday basis. TAIT, same thing on Bounce Watch coming into today. No trade at all because it gapped up. Goes right back on Bounce Watch for tomorrow. AKRX, you gotta blur your vision a little bit, but you had a nice pop back here, and you kind of had this loose flag. I do want to watch that for a potential long. Tilray, TLRY, even if they didn't have earnings after the bell, which they did, if this was just a normal day and they had no after hours news, this is super interesting to me because it had this, it doesn't look like much, but you can see the volume spike. This was 3 sessions ago. It went from 45.60 to 51. That's a big move. Then it rolled right back over and is heading back up today. For those of you in chat, I actually call this as an opening range breakout right there. And it ended up going up from there nicely. Again, I like the chart even without the after hours move. As I'm talking right now, trading, let's see, after hours is closed, 50.72. All right, so let's look at 60. Sometimes when I switch to 60s, never mind. I say sometimes when I switch to 60s, it kind of shows after hours, even though it's not very accurate. It looks like it closed out at 50.72. It looks like it went as high as 53 in after hours. So absolutely one to watch tomorrow. There's got to be a lot of shorts in this name. Remember, this is the one that went parabolic here and hit 300, and it's just really been bleeding ever since. A little bit of extra volume coming into earnings, and then we've got the earnings. This one could squeeze. So with a low risk setup, I do like TLRY. And lastly, I have ARCI, which doesn't look that good other than it's trading at 610. It closed out after hours at 610. So there was obviously some after hours news. This could also be a gap and go play. That's it. I'm going to be watching these stocks. Hopefully we'll catch some morning gap plays as well. And we'll see y'all in chat tomorrow. Have a good night.